Boop, recording.
Recording.
Joey Richter was great in this.
I was about to say I would cut that out in editing, but I'm not editing this one. Hello, friends. We meet again, but not with StarKid, nor anime, nor Edgar Wright, but back to our roots of Pixar perspective.
That's right. We finally made it back, and we're recording the first impressions of the new Pixar film La Luna. I mean, Luca.
La Luca.
La Luca. The Luca. I don't know why that made me laugh. But yeah, we're here to talk about the new Pixar film that just came out last weekend.
Very recently.
Very
the
recently.
13th, I think. So 10 days ago.
Yeah. So just for the heads up, this
Oh, so
is,
the 8th, I'm sorry, the 18th of June. So that was
yeah, that was last weekend. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, literally last weekend, yeah. So not too far from now.
Okay.
But
With all these awkwardness, you may have noticed that this is 98% unedited, and it will also be 100% spoilerific. If we're gonna go fully into it, do we want to say like what we like? Just say like, or do we just want to just get right and get started?
what would we even say beforehand? Our experiences with this movie? I watched it on Disney Plus with my mom. I didn't have the captions on because she didn't want it. A little bit of a mistake with some characters because some were.
Well, a lot of them, they don't get translated anyway.
That's very true, and I actually like that it. I actually like that it uses the language of. I want to say an Italian language.
It is Italian,
but there was like some.
I'm random bystander here.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. I'm random bystander here.
I
am the Wash. I introduced myself twice.
There we go.
There we are. And now 3 times.
The hell? What the hell?
What?
My Audacity just stopped.
Oh, it's like mine.
Yours stopped?
Yes.
Do we have to start over?
No. I start recording it again, so just keep in mind that at one point it stops.
Oh, God. Now you're giving me extra editing to do. Thanks a lot.
Oh wow. Actually, it didn't record any of that beginning, so we could start over if we really wanted to. So just keep in mind for this one, it's gonna suck. Sorry. But if it helps, we're good now. So I'm random bystander here.
I'm the Wash.
I'm the Wash.
You only introduced yourself once this time.
Yeah. I mean, I assume we're keeping the last one in, so.
That's very true. Shit, I almost said La Luca.
I did my joke. I did that already.
Oh my god. Yes, Luca, I'm excited for it. Let's just dive in. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I get it. Dive into it like a move that you do when you're jumping into a pool of water.
I didn't even plan that, but we'll say I did.
Where the comedy comes in.
Yeah, Luca.
No.
Dark Kid Spotlight never dies.
Never dies.
Is the Annie episode even out?
What?
Is the Annie episode even out yet?
No,
No.
not even. Not yet.
Not even
Oh,
close.
shit.
Redact that. Redact that joke.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not. I don't care. Luca. It came out, and it is. Do you want to do? Anyone want to do a plot synopsis for it?
Yeah, okay, I can do the plot synopsis.
Let's do it.
This is the story of 2 boys, one timid and easily frightened, the other confident yet clueless, off to bring their father back from the dead using No. This is the story of 2 boys, one timid and easily frightened, the other confident yet clueless, off to win a race.
A Visiba, I think it's called.
A Vespa. Visible?
Vespa.
What is it? Vespa?
Well, I mean, the Vespa isn't a race.
No, but they do it so they can get get money for a Vespa.
It's the Porto Rosso Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And
I do like the detail that it's the whole thing is just like a sponsorship for pasta. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
even that big of a race. It's just like, hey kids, like do this triathlon and eat our delicious pasta.
Yes. Literally, it's like there 2 out of the 3 competitions are physical related. The other one's just eating pasta.
Is the most is I mean pasta is delicious and it would make for quite the challenge if you have to eat like a huge plate of pasta and then immediately bike uphill. Like
Oh, yes, which is I think why one character throws up or is known for throwing up.
oh yeah,
Um,
one character is known for throwing up. Yes.
We'll get to that. But I had 2 thoughts. I will admit I had 2 preconceived notions of this movie. Like when the opening came up, my first thought was, is this going to be Pixar's Little Mermaid? And I'm happy to say I was wrong.
I was thinking, is this gonna be Pixar's The Shape of Water, the Guillermo del Toro movie, which I'm guessing neither of you have seen.
Is that the one with the woman where the woman loves the sea monster?
Yes, the one with the woman loving the sea monster. Yeah.
Joke's on you, I have seen that, but only
Perfect.
bits and pieces at an airport or like
You-
in
Did
a
you go to
plane.
the same airplane as me? Because that's exactly how I watched it.
Were you going to New Mexico / Arizona?
Maybe the opposite direction.
I like to think we saw it together, just in
yeah.
the air. But I only saw bits and pieces of it. Literally, my neighbor, who was like a classmate of mine, because we went to see, we went on a school trip. She was watching it and she fell asleep. So, and then I watched it and it made me want to fall asleep. So, and I watched
Aw.
Coco. So,
It's not that bad.
yeah, but it's not Luca, and I didn't know anything about like sea monster lore. The boat opening scene, it just made me think of Little Mermaid. It did, and it made my mom think of Little Mermaid too because we watched it together, and we literally thought this was gonna be Pixar's Little Mermaid, and it wasn't. Thankfully, it's Luca is just. It
Yeah,
does
I-
have very similar things, like Luca being very scared of the surface, but also discovering,
He wants more.
yes, and discovering human objects and having fun with them. And then, but he also works on a farm, I think.
Okay.
Which made me-
Well, that was dropped like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it was literally in there, like less than that actually. Like he works at like a weird farm with his parents, his mom and his dad and his grandma. They were cool.
So when
And-
I heard about this premise and I saw like the teaser trailer, I had thought that this was in the opposite direction. I thought it was gonna be about boys who become sea monsters and have to hide their sea
Ooh.
monster traits. But
That's not the impression that I got of it. The impression I was that, I mean, maybe
well,
which teaser trailer was it? Like,
I watched the teaser like once and then forgot about it. So this is just based on like extremely surface level impressions. But that was what
I
I
didn't
was
even-
thinking.
I didn't even watch a teaser trailer. I went to this one completely blind,
Mm.
which felt good. It felt really good.
No, that's good.
I'll be honest, if you weren't for us doing this, I probably wouldn't have known about Luca right away. So,
Yeah, this kept slipping from our minds over and over and over again.
no, I mean, Wash and I at least were occupied with something else, which you'll find out in like a couple months. But still, I probably would have forgotten about it as also, just because movies are not what's like the top of my priority list right now.
True. And after having watched it, it was fine.
yeah, it was fine.
It was
Like, wasn't as magical as Inside Out or Coco or no, it wasn't as heartfelt as those movies. But
that's
it
the
also
thing, isn't
was
shouldn't
a-
it be? shouldn't it be heartfelt though, with the premise of like two friends that have a fallen out? So it was fine, but okay. So it's like I had already heard about it being like kind of whatever, and after having finished it, I was kind of surprised at how whatever it is. At least on my first viewing, that this was just really standard and very by the numbers. Like it's just
I would say it's a little bit better than that. It's not. I wouldn't call it like extremely by the numbers.
There's nothing in it that's like. I guess comparing it to Inside Out and Coco, or those when if Luca just went on, there was there's a straight line. We'll say it's the bike race. There's a straight line you got to go through. Yeah. Luca took that straight line and got there in a reasonable amount of time. But Inside Out and Coco, like, invented creative shortcuts to get there faster. I guess.
Yeah.
That's a way to put it.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I was talking with the coworker about it, and he also had he also felt that it was decent, and he made he made a pretty good point that it felt like it felt like three different movies in here. Like you have the farm for like the Sea World. Or the undersea society for
we don't really go there that much,
and they don't go anywhere into it. And then you have the two boys and the bonding, and then you have the race, and it just feels like segmented from each other, especially the society, like the parents that Luca is running away from. They just kind of like pop up every once in a while, and they're just mostly there for like comedy. But it doesn't feel like much is driving. I guess.
It just.
I mean, I would at least say that the race and what Luca and Alberto go through, like that's connected well enough.
Yeah, I would say,
and the resolution ties into it well too. It is just the sea stuff. Which, you could at least bring up the point that it's like that's what he's trying to get away from. It's like, all right, whatever, I suppose.
But we don't really know much about it to know why they want to get away from it. He just kind of wants to get away from it.
Yeah. Well, he just wants to go somewhere new. He just wants to expand his horizons. Because, like, this part I get behind. It's his parents are very overprotective and sheltering. And, he's a growing kid. He wants his own independence, and he gets it. And his parents try to take it away from him. As he says this a few times throughout the movie, like, they were going to send me away. I remember thinking like, oh, that's kind of extreme, isn't it? And like, no, not really.
No. Because people will do that.
Yeah. So, no, they will. So that's the whole reason. Like, it isn't that it's like, well, what about the SeaWorld that makes him want to get away? It's like his parents. It's his parents.
Yeah. And to be fair, they do a good job with that. I guess when Pixar doing like a Sea World type of thing, I mean, technically they did that with Finding Nemo, but also this is like, there's a difference between like the biological Sea World and the mythological Sea World, and we don't really get to see much of that other than Luca's house.
I'll give it props over Onward at least.
Like, we know that other sea monsters exist. I'm sure they have like an actual like name, but they're referred to as sea monsters. I think they call each other sea monsters.
Yeah.
Point. But oh god, god damn it, I lost my own point. What were we talking about?
This is why it's unedited, folks.
Okay. Like you see other sea monsters like occasionally, but there's no real sense of like what they do, why they do it.
Yeah. There's no real. I mean, to be fair, the reason why they don't go up to the surface is that they kill that the humans kill them. That's stated pretty clear.
Yeah.
But
the whole thing is that it's a harbor town that kills sea creatures.
But also like because the whole setup of this is that these mythical sea monsters have an ability where as soon as they go into the dry surface world, they become human beings. And with that, it was almost like, maybe this is the point, but it's like, so what's the stakes? Because like unless they have to do something like really contrived way to get them wet, and they do have some sillier ways of almost getting wet and revealing themselves. They could just like how many times in your week do you actually get like soaking wet? Like once a day in the shower, and then you can just enjoy the rest of your life as a human being.
You're honestly but when you live by a seaside town, it's gonna happen a bit more often.
Yeah. And there's a water fountain, and there's the weather, and the only one that confused me, and this was like a credits joke, so I let it slide. A dog licks Luca, and you can see the scales. It's like, so saliva counts?
It does make him wet.
Yeah, so like it counts. I was like, okay, I'll take it, I guess.
So like, what kind of moisture? Like, how moist do you have to get?
Do we really want to spend our time with Luca talking about this?
How do cars use the bathroom?
I didn't mind it too much. Like, I do agree.
Yeah, no, you said there are no stakes, but it's like the way that people interpret it, how any rational person who would live at a harbor town that fears the sea monsters would interpret it, is that they're disguising us. It's not that they are turning into humans, it's that they're disguising themselves as humans. When, spoilers, Alberto reveals that he's one of them. You know, everybody like Julia freaks. I wish I remembered his name, but I don't remember his name. But people start throwing harpoons at him. Like, the stakes are that if they reveal themselves as sea monsters, they're going to die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this.
Until they do reveal themselves, and then one of the the eyebrow dad from La Luna says, "No, he's cool. He's my bro.
He's cool. He's cool." I mean, if that dad told me that he was cool, I'd listen.
Yeah. Even the stereotypical bully character was trying to like convince otherwise, but then a couple of kids just beat him up.
Yeah. I will say, I will give his name is Ercole Visconti.
Ercole. I think it's Ercole.
Ercole, okay.
Ercole. I will give him credit over Monster Hunter University's bully and the Carves villains, and because at least Ercole gets a bit more threatening at points. Like, at one point you see him try to stab them with spears multiple times, even when they're human. At one point,
yeah. That's when Luca points the harpoon at him and says, "Put him down."
Yeah.
It's like, oh shoot, someone's gonna die. This is hype.
I got a lot of Gaston vibes from him, oddly enough.
This definitely
like the jerk, especially near the end, where spoilers, like, it's revealed, and then Ercole is there with the spear, and he's just like, "These are monsters." I was half expecting Julia to be like, "They're no monsters, Ercole, you are," just like in Beauty and the Beast. I was
like the Shape of Water.
I thought you were gonna say, "They're not monsters, they're our friends."
Oh wait, isn't that what they kind of do? Is that like, I know who they are? They are Luca and Alberto, my
winners.
Yeah, the general resolution is that it's like, yeah, they are sea creatures. So
yeah,
that's good. No, I like it because I like it because it's like the general consensus to that is, that's a good point.
It really is. They're not hurting anybody.
Yeah,
they're not killing anyone. In fact, they helped a girl. They've been with us in the town the whole time. Granted, the adults who tortured the children by dunking them in water and hitting them with like toy balls. Yeah, maybe they would have a problem with that, but other than that, it's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
What do you think?
I'll give this to Ercole. What definitely sets him apart from the Monsters University bully is that he's actually like pathetic. At the
Yeah,
same
that's what
time,
I was thinking.
that he's like he has such confidence in himself, but also he's like clearly he's clearly old, trying to join a children's triathlon.
It's like funny how the legal system works. He's 16, so he's technically a kid, so he gets away with that.
No, but they said like you were 16 last year.
Yeah.
And this time it's true.
What? Yeah. Last year I was lying. This year it's true. I thought he was very well animated. I like how
Oh my God, yeah.
snappy
Absolutely.
he was. I really like that.
I guess it was just like there's all it was really was just like the bully archetype, but as far as like Pixar bullies go, he's definitely one of the better ones.
Oh,
I mean,
without a doubt.
the thing about the bully archetype is that it's like you know where it's gonna go. So what matters is like how much fun are you gonna have with it.
That's
And
fair.
because of what we've been talking about, I had fun with him.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah, me
fair, that's
too.
fair.
I liked him because he did lead up to some funny moments. And also he wasn't afraid to go dark at points. And
Yeah,
at least like how dark did the Monsters University bully go? Like put paint on them. Oh no. How
He embarrassed them.
oh my
in front
God,
of the
so
school.
mean. But
Oh my God, that voice.
Yeah, right.
that's a reference to something. You won't get that till later. But and weren't really that, they were just like jerks, but like jerks to be jerks. This one was a jerk, and even over threateningly a jerk, because he was so pathetic he needed to keep his title. And it works for him. It works as a Pixar antagonist.
And like you said, it got dark. Like they were going to beat up Alberto. When his friends were failing in the race, he was like shouting at, like, his friends were crying, and he's like shouting at them how useless they are.
He
Like,
at one point he literally, like, during the eating competition, he forces spaghetti down their throats.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
there's like a kid right next to him, and that's just like looking at the judge like, what? How is this still allowed?
yeah.
Are
The
you
adults
not
are like,
serious?
she's gonna puke again. Meanwhile, this is happening.
Yeah.
I did find out that one of those kids is voiced by Peter Stone, director of The Good Dinosaur.
Yes. Yes, I
didn't
caught
know
that. I caught
I didn't.
that, and I was
I
like,
didn't. You can't even hear Russell anymore. It's just Peter Stone, the director of The Good Dinosaur.
I think also one was voiced by Linguini, maybe?
No, I haven't
Or
seen.
maybe I was
at least,
confusing.
at least I haven't seen that in the credits. That I was looking through.
Maybe I confused Peter Stone with the voice actor of Linguini.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
But yeah, I
maybe you're
definitely,
confusing-
one of them definitely sounded like, I know this voice now, but from before. And it
Well,
probably was
there was
Peter Stone.
one voice that was like, I know that voice, but it was only until I got to the credits that I realized, oh, Jim Gaffigan.
Yep, Jim Gaffigan
Jim Gaffigan.
as the parents. You know who we haven't talked about, though? Luca and Alberto.
Okay. Luca is
Fine.
fine.
He was fine.
He's fine. He's just kind of like timid, and he has some curiosity to him.
In my opinion, he's what Arlo should have been.
I mean, Arlo does definitely have a much higher, like, I don't know, because Luca is much more of a follower. Arlo is much more of a, like, I'll get it done.
I mean, stop! You're bringing back bad memories. But yeah, I like Luca a lot. There wasn't a point where I was annoyed by him at all. All his actions made sense. And to me,
here's why I really he wasn't fine. I really liked Luca because he is a curious mind, but it's not like, oh, here's what I was curious about. I learned. Cool. Time to apply that. It's not like that. He gets to the surface and he wants to learn. So when he is taught, he says, oh, that's nice. What next? Here's what's next. oh, what next?
Oh.
And at that point, it's like
Oh,
at that point it's like, oh well, there's nothing left to it, and or we don't know what else there is, and he's like, I like he wants to know. He actually, when he comes to the surface and he gets what he wants, he isn't like, maybe what I wanted I already had the whole time. He's like, no, I want to know more. So he learns more.
and
That's why-
That's why he
And
wants
that's what
to
I
go
that's
to
what
school.
yeah. That's what I like about him. It does, like, him wanting to go to school. Well, him wanting to go to school makes sense. But also, you know, it's not like the whole time he's complaining, I want to go to the surface. I want to go to the surface. As he gets to the surface, I want to go home. Like, at no point is he like, I want to go see my parents. If anything, he's like, I don't want to see my parents.
Yeah.
because he wants to know new things. And you get to see, I'm not going to say it's like earth-shattering or, you know, it's like the most creative thing ever, but you do get to see him evolve from just, you know, the timid kid who's afraid to do what he wants to becoming the kid that does what he wants to do.
It definitely.
I liked it a lot.
changed.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
You bring up a
Definitely-
good point with him. I didn't notice that my first time watching. Like I was more.
There's a
just-
lot. There's a lot of little things I noticed on my first watch. Like, there are some bigger things that I don't want to say that they bothered me, but it's like, I feel like it's one of those things where just if you just, I don't want to sound like, you know, I'm so high level, but like on a surface level, this is a pun. I agree that it's pretty shallow, but
Those two
like, there's a
puns.
lot of there's a lot of little things that I appreciated about it. That I was kind of surprised that I picked up on my first watch, and this is definitely a movie that I'm gonna want to watch again. But there's like
Yeah.
so many little things with how the characters evolve and how they act. We'll get to Alberto in a bit, but like the way that, you know, he acts and his situation and what happens to him in the end is just like, you know, okay, this is a natural evolution, which most movies, especially Pixar movies, don't really give us. No, it's like, well, I mean, we're comparing it to a bad one, but Monsters U, the evolution is, I'm a jerk. I've been a real jerk. Like, this is not that. This is not that.
Not at all. Not at all.
It definitely
Um,
that definitely is a good point, especially with the him bonding with the Julia over over astronomy.
I'll be straight up. Those are my favorite parts of the movie.
That's a really
I think-
good. That's a really great scene. I really don't like Alberto doing those. I was
Yeah.
so. I
Like-
feel like we'll get to Alberto soon, but I was getting really annoyed with Alberto. But we're still talking while we're still talking about Luca. I feel like it's like one thing when I think about Luca, the thing I immediately want to talk about is actually character design. Like this is a different take of humans.
Yeah.
For once, like this
Yeah, I hate to be the person who disses La Luna, but I watched La Luna before this, and the first thing I remember thinking was that it's like, this kid looks so wrong on so many levels. Like, his eyes, they look so wrong. And then when I came into Luca, and it's like, oh, okay, like the eye width is kind of the same, but like the shape of his eyes much better matches the shape of like his head and his body and his overall design. Like, it looks much better, I think.
I still, cause the thing that I like about the La Luna eyes is just the that every single moment his eyes look like crescents. They look like moon crescents, which is very.
No, I mean that's a nice touch, but
yeah.
I mean I look at it. You know, it's nice that that's there, but I look at him just like, this kid looks wrong.
but
Fine if you don't. Fine if you don't. But I just remember being like, huh, I don't want to look at him.
But with this one, I mean, I'll say straight up, I was getting huge Aardman vibes from this, like the Wallace and Gromit people, especially with the how the kind of, I hate saying this word because it's one of those things that like animation like weirdos say, but bean mouth. God damn it! Because everybody
Cal Arts. I'll
every-
say it. Cal Arts.
yeah, I can't stand that term.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
It's made by whiners, but but yeah, that they have this they all have a very particular curve that is very reminiscent of Wallace and Gromit or Nick Park in general. Um, and it's also it also makes for a very a fun watch whenever they talk in profile, and you can see that they have like a sort of sonic mouth syndrome where they're talking more on one side of their mouth. And in a way that's almost like a kind of like how like a lot of like anime is animated where they like the head shape is mainly flat, but the lips are coming from the side. And it's only when they have to get like really expressive that they talk like actually from the where the mouth would be. And then the rest of it is more stylized like that. So because boy, this film really loves Miyazaki. Like
Yeah.
I was seeing like a lot of like Ghibli. It looks like Ghibli. I was getting strong Kiki's Delivery Service. Don't you dare compare vibes from from this. And I guess I kind of want to talk about like my I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna need a second watch because I think about like about Studio Ghibli films, and I'm thinking like why did this not hook me as much as like Kiki's? And I feel like part of that might be like plot. I don't know.
I will admit the plot isn't the strongest with this one. It's still good. Like when I say it's not the strongest, like I still think it's a magnificently like story, and I like what it's trying to do. I just feel like it just barely missed the mark of like compared to like other.
Don't worry,
great Pixar
Luca.
films.
You'll make your mark one day.
Sorry,
Sorry,
it's okay. I know I would have done the same thing.
No, I hard interrupted you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I would have done the same thing. I don't know. Just
I mean, I do.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I mean, if we are going to talk about plot, like I was watching it and I had like the opposite thoughts of. I mean, so okay, we both thought this. It is a very basic, straightforward plot. We both thought this.
Yeah.
It wasn't bothering me. And I remember thinking like, why? Like not to say that like I should hate it, but it should kind of be more thinking like the plot being this straightforward, like that it should take some more twists and turns. And there was like one or two that I really liked, but like on the whole, it's kind of like the Starship thing. But I thought about it. It's like Starship is obviously a different can of worms, so it's just like so pleasant and good. And this isn't like on the same level as Starship. But I was thinking about why, and I kept thinking about Toy Story, about how so many people love that movie, but when you really think about the plot, you don't even really think about the plot. Like you watch the movie, that falls much into the same category, where the plot is super simple, even for its time. But it's just that it was a fun ride. It executed what it was going out to do pretty well, or well enough, and you liked it. And there's that whole thing with like Toy Story is super innovative, and it's like, all right, it's innovative, but is it good?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, I'm not dissing Toy Story. I love the movie. But when I'm thinking about that and I'm coming back to this, then I'm like, I think that's probably why, I'm getting into it. Because, like what it's doing. I mean, there were some things that I wasn't so crazy about, which we'll get to. But, what's there? It's pleasant. It's charming. It's fun. They go fun places. Again, like nothing super out there. But again, like there's what it needed to do. And it's like just above that, right? That's kind of what I walked away thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you are going to criticize the movie for being super basic, then you're also going to have to defend Toy Story, because that has the exact same problem, but it's not a problem because it's a good movie.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that like there is something about it that is more than just like it's so basic, because like Monsters University is mega basic, but I will at least defend the ending of Monsters University. And I'm having
You know what I think it is? I think you don't like it because there's no heartfelt ending. It didn't
There's
make
no
you cry.
heartfelt ending.
I mean, it is
Something
heartfelt.
important.
I will say that, but like, it's not.
Something important.
It doesn't make you cry like Coco and Inside Out
I
and
feel like it's
That's super subjective.
yeah,
like,
because
I'll
that,
say-
no, it is. but like,
I'm saying that straight up because like the whole movie was building up to Luca's independence, which he finally gets because of the one thing that Alberto wanted. He sacrificed so that Luca could have what he wanted, and that Alberto was fatherless throughout the entire movie, and he finally found a legitimate father figure who cared about him.
oh,
yeah.
And
you
that's,
went,
and,
oh,
like,
you're right. Okay,
they go their separate ways, but they're still together. Not only for what they did with each other, but for the way that they impacted each other. That's why
Yeah.
the hug that they share at the end is like the strongest part of the movie, because it's
Yeah,
like
that's what-
like everything that happened was building up to that moment.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's true that it doesn't have a heartfelt moment at the end, because absolutely it does. That's what the whole train thing is. Another Ghibli thing, loving trains. But it's
it's
One of the parts that got me to be like, oh, was when Julia and Luca came home after Alberto was outed as the sea monster. The father asks, "Where is he?" And Luca says, "He left, but I don't think people would want to look for him." And the dad goes, "Do you know where he went?" "No." And the dad leaves anyway and says, "Just in case," and he leaves. Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
because, it's like that's kind of the part where I realized, like, wait a minute, Alberto never had a father figure, and that's why he turned out the way he is. But he's attained a father figure through doing what he came.
now
This is, this is another one of those things where it's like the movie doesn't. I really don't want to say this because it's going to make me sound like an elitist, but the movie doesn't spell it out. It lets you discover all of these little things by yourself,
yeah.
and that's what's so rewarding. That's why I'll say it outright. Like, I loved it. I loved it. And it's stuff like this. For all the problems, it has problems, which I swear I'll get to. But it's this stuff that's just like, I want to rewatch this movie like really bad.
You're convincing me to rewatch the movie now.
And like, look, I could watch it a second time and be like, wow, I was so off base. I totally could. But my first impressions are just like, there's so much for just to appreciate. If you pay attention, there's so much to appreciate.
I think okay. I think like, because when I think about like what are my issues with it, it keeps coming back to one character and specifically one scene that just powered it so much for me. Well, maybe not one scene, but definitely like the change that the Alberto had
Yeah.
with Luca, and especially I feel like this is the point where I was actually just kind of annoyed at the film. Was well, I mean they have a because Alberto gets jealous, and I would feel like, oh my god, why he's getting jealous, and it's just feeling kind of silly. I know the kids, but the part that just that takes it over, that puts it over the line for me was the scene where Luca says to Julia, "Hey, can we join school with you?" And yes, it's not very nice of it's not very nice of Luca to try to force Alberto into the situation. It's also not very nice of Alberto to just make up lies about why and belittle him, saying that nobody would want you in school. Nobody would want you. No, everybody would be afraid of you in school. And then Alberto just says, "Hey Julia, do they accept everyone, even sea monsters?" And then he jumps inside the water, reveals himself as a sea monster, despite Luca and Crush's dreams. And then Luca says, like, pretends to still be to still be a human, says sea monster, and then Alberto swims away. Luca feels bad. Go back to the tower, and Alberto doesn't apologize at once, ever.
All I wanted was an apology, Ame. Just one.
Just once, Ame.
I would say now we know it's a Studio Ghibli film, but that was Wolf Children, not Kiki's.
Yeah, that's true.
No, if this was actually a Studio Ghibli film, there'd be an old lady that are watching people die on TV. Power cuts out, and she says, they always skip out on the good part.
I mean, we did have multiple old women where that could have happened.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that scene was little.
You talk for a bit, Random, because you might be surprised by what I think of that.
I'm guessing.
Well,
now, Random first.
Okay.
Yes. I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I understand like getting annoyed at Alberto for the jealousy, but you got to think about it. This is Alberto's only friend that he's had, not only connection he's had since his father left him. And he's worried that same thing. You know what? Let me finish.
No. Fine.
No, I won't let you finish.
Alberto is, and that fear is driven from the same thing that's happening to his father, happening to him, to Luca. And so I get it. And I know the story tries to symbolize it with the whole sad backstory scene with Alberto talking about his father and the scratch marks on the walls. And yeah, yes, they could have done it differently a bit, but at the same time, I think it was fine. And yes, Alberto could have probably apologized. I'm not sure if he did, and he probably did later, but I don't know. But he also apologized through his actions by trying to get him the umbrella. So
that's actually, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I didn't really think of that as an apology. I just thought of it as like, hey, we're friends now, and it's just like.
Well, that's his way of apologizing. If there's one thing I know about Alberto is that he speaks with actions more than words.
Yes, I was gonna bring that point up. Thank you for bringing that up.
And that's all I have to say. So Kirby fan, go on ahead. I will defend Alberto and this movie.
All right. So I know Random brought this point up, but just to bring it up quick, he didn't have a father. His father left him a while back, and when you are of that age and you don't have parental figures, you tend to act in a certain way. And if the movie. If Alberto was one note and it built up to that point, I'd be sitting here with Watch saying like, oh, this is so stupid. But you could see from as soon as he starts hanging out with Luca that the way that he acts, the way that he just kind of puts not so much puts Luca down, but more of like, no, I'm the one that's in charge. The way that he's acting isn't really that different from the way he's been acting throughout most of the film. Like he's getting more aggressive, I guess, but that's partially just because of that internal fear that he's going to lose somebody again. And I kind of, it never justified his actions to me, but I at least thought like, okay, this is where he's coming from. This is going to be really bad if people tell Luca that he's in the wrong or he feels like he's in the wrong. It never got to that point. So that's defense number one. The person who did the wrong was outed as wrong like immediately. They didn't wait. They didn't make you feel like, Is Luca gonna feel bad for taking the house that he and his wife lived in for like 90 years instead of rescuing the bird like fucking Up did? So there is that. It's a potty mouth Kirby fan. Oh no, it's French, not Italian. And I remember like one of the few moments of the movie that like genuinely shocked me was when Luca was pretending to still be a human, was like, it's a sea monster. Because that happened, I was just like, that's kind of the moment that it's like, oh, Luca is thinking for himself now. He's not relying on Alberto anymore. Like, he's not the kid hiding behind Alberto. He's Luca now. And just like that to be the way that they like kind of made that come out, I was like, oh my god. And then everybody started attacking with the harpoons, and Luca just to do nothing but feel like shocked. And then, I was so worried when they started this. When they got back to the house and the father left to look for Alberto, and Julia found out that Alberto was a sea creature, I was like, oh, here we go. It's the misunderstanding. There's going to be moping and doping. This movie's been really good so far. Too bad I have to hate it now. They talk.
Yeah, I like that.
And
I
they
like that.
Yes.
There was no misunderstanding. The only moping and doping one was none of it with Julia. She was fine with everything.
Yeah, she was
was
just like,
like,
what the hell are you guys doing here?
Yeah,
Go.
like why here? You have to go. And if I go back home, nothing's gonna change. They're still gonna send me away. This is the only place where I can be myself. I can be who I want to be. And like she understands, but also like he's in too much danger. Like she's saying this can't work out. Luke is trying so hard, and she's like, "I'm sorry, this just can't work out." Like, good luck, but it can, and that's like so good. And then, like I said, the part where I thought there was going to be moping and doping was when, and I guess there was a little bit of it, was when Luca and Alberto were talking to each other, and that's just kind of where it came to the forefront that Alberto just kind of spilled the beans on how he felt with how the way that he acts is just because he wants to be. It's not that he wants to boss Luca around. Is that he wants to be he wants a friend. His whole life he never had a friend. His father left him so early in his life. He never really knew what that sense of companionship felt like. And because he always counted on himself, that's just he is the way that he is. When he gets that taken away from him, unlike Luca and Julia, who are much more, I guess, in touch with logic. I guess they would know, just talk it out. It'll be okay. And Luca tries to talk it out, but Alberto is much more of an emotional character.
Yes.
He doesn't really know what it means to like build that bond. So when it gets taken away, the way that he reacts, yeah, it's rude, yeah, it sucks, but you get all the information that you need, not spoon-filled to you, but just kind of naturally shown throughout the movie that it's like, this is how he is. And when he finally spills the beans that it's like, I've never had a dad, I've never had a companion, you are my first friend, you are that first person, and I don't want to get that taken away. It's not like fully what he says, but it's what you can very easily take from that whole thing. And he never apologized, and I do agree that generally he should have apologized, but what he also did was he told Luca that okay, so I'm getting to the right destination, but I started that sentence wrong. The way that he was speaking to Luca wasn't so much that it was like, not that he didn't have anything to apologize for, but just that, through what he does and his own personal shortcomings, his own fears, his own anxieties, like, you shouldn't be around me anymore. I'm not worth it. And that's kind of what made me feel like, okay, I can kind of get into this now a little bit better. Even like the little bit of moping and doping that there is, it's like, well, Luca does no moping, first of all. Like, the character who is doing the moping, there's only one, and everybody around him is trying to cheer him up, but he's just so on such like a low level emotionally. His mood is just that bad that he can't be cheered up. That's when Lucas says, "Gravity, take me," and he falls off. And it's like, that kid's come a long way too. But I should also watch it again. I am defending this on a first impressions level. And I'll also say that I didn't love it, and I do think that Alberto wasn't the most likable character. But I also think by the time that we got to him being specifically unlikable, we knew enough about him to see why his actions, what leads him to get to that point. He's never shown to be in the right for anything that he did, even by himself. The only person that feels bad is Luca, and that's more for almost getting his friend killed, which, understandable. And even then, it's not like Luca's like, well, I'm not entering the race without you, and then they have this big moment. Like, Luca still enters the race by himself. He doesn't stop himself for Alberto, but he's always thinking about him. And Alberto is always thinking about Luca. Because this movie is about a lot of things, but it is also about the relationship between these two kids, what they do to each other, the journey that they go through, and how it resolves. So that was probably a lot longer than it had to be.
So here's my rebuttal then. Because yes, there's definitely a element of I don't want to lose a friend, and that's a big core of especially childhood jealousy, is that you think that it's a zero sum game. Like, if like either I have either Luca is friend with me or he's friend with Julia. And there's definitely that part of the jealousy, but also and Luca himself called this out. Alberto also has like an inferiority, like a bit of an inferiority complex. He's very confident, but the thing is that like, cause he like you had mentioned that his whole thing is that he wants that he's the fountain of wisdom to Luca. Like everything he says, like see all those things in the sky. Those are fish. There's the big fish that leads them around, and he's so like, and he's like very like puffy chested about like how knowledgeable he is, and then here's Julia just showing Luca a book, and Alberto is suddenly feels threatened that he's no longer he's no longer someone that Luca can rely on for knowledge, and when Luca was like actually like tries to call him out, and it's just like you can see just how much of that was just tearing at him, just the idea of like I can't be wrong, how dare you you think that I'm wrong, and this kind of goes back to like what a jerk.
All right, so I mean, this I'll keep super brief because I mentioned it before.
And also,
if he was
Random had to start talking soon.
Yeah,
I'm just like you know how Kirby let Ame and I let Wash and I debate about Ame. I'm just kind of like eating popcorn here, just like
Mom and Dad are arguing. Mom and Dad are arguing. Please stop.
No, I'm watching the fireworks. I'm like,
but yeah, like for real, 2 seconds because this is super brief. If he was just some kid, sure, I'd agree with you. Even though I'm not talking about his role in the movie, but if he was just like, oh yeah, you know, I've got parents, I've had friends, I'm just a jerk. Yeah, but I think the movie contextualized it well enough to where it wasn't a problem. Like you're saying that stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
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 Okay,
like nothing that you said was wrong, but the movie contextualized it well enough to where it's like, oh, this is where it's leading up to. Oh, they have an argument. Ooh. Oh, he almost got killed. Ooh, we almost got the. Yo, he almost got harpooned. Damn. Like,
yo,
that'd be hype.
You almost died. Let's go.
let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, like, I'll also level with you. Alberto is one of my least favorite characters in the movie too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. He's not the best character in the world, and he does get on my nerves. But like, I feel like he's supposed, but he's still like, it's not like
he's not being a jerk because it's convenient for the writing. He's being a jerk because this is where the progression of his character is leading.
Yes,
that's why it didn't bother me.
Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Because it's very easy for Pixar to write characters to be jerks just to be jerks because of the plot. Monsters University, Cars 3, many other instances that we've seen, even in Star Kid, which we may or may not have gotten to yet. I think we have at this point. But, no, yeah, at least, even if he is a jerk, it has some purpose to it. And I'd rather Pixar give me a jerk or give me not really a jerk, but like someone who we know why he's doing what he's doing, or it's contextualized why he's doing what he's doing, than just a jerk to be a jerk. And I would say Alberto is that.
I can definitely see. I can see this being more rewarding on the second watch. That is,
I hope it is, or else my like 20-minute ramble is for nothing.
We'll find out later. But you know what we should talk about now? Other characters besides the two people. Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's a lot of characters in the movie, but there's, at least for me, there's so much to talk about.
I'll say one of my favorite characters is, we mentioned her a few times already, Julia. I'm with you on that.
Like Julia. She hard stop favorite character in the movie.
Without a doubt.
I really like her. I really liked her.
Shout out to Emma Berman, who is I forgot, it's like she's about to turn 13 in August. And this is her feature film debut.
Other than Go Corey Carson, of course. Oh. On her IMDb page, but that's amazing that she's able to like produce that much acting talent at 13.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
good.
Like
that's good.
She's like she sounds authentically Italian, even though her parents are Russian.
Nice,
but yeah,
that's awesome.
like Julia.
Yeah, because
it's nice to where we get to like a female character in a Pixar film, and we have something more to say than she's fine. No, like
yeah, like she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah,
she does deliveries to help out her father. She has personality. She's funny.
She's really funny.
She has this rivalry with the
She's not a nerd. She immerses herself in books, but she's not your typical nerd.
Yes.
She's easily excitable, but she doesn't use it to get into bad situations. She has downsides, but they're not such extreme downsides to where it gets other people into trouble.
Yeah,
she
like
she's polite. She's polite. She's polite, but when she gets mad, she winds up saying the same things over and over again so much that even like the town bully that's only there sometimes can quote her before she can finish. Like she's not a a textbook perfect character, or not even like oh, you're tired of seeing perfect characters? Well, check this out. Like she's not even like that. She's just really good.
Yeah. Like this just a really
There wasn't a moment where she was on screen where I was like, "Oh god, Julia."
And again, I just have to mention this fact. When Luca got exposed as a sea creature to Julia, instead of having a misunderstanding, she talked to him.
Yes.
Oh my god, for all the problems that the movie has with being too safe and too straightforward, that was like the one that I was like, thank God they didn't go down the straight and narrow for this one.
Yeah.
I guess that was another thing where that it felt like a Kiki's delivery service is that like when they find out that Kiki's a witch, it's like, oh, okay. So anyway, you're gonna get me. Are you gonna get this delivered or not?
Yeah. Gotta just go with it. And I'm like, I'm okay. Yes. Fine. Like, I understand the rest of the town, like, maybe being a little shocked by it in the beginning, but even then, they're like, they kind of go for it after, like, they realize that they're friendly. Like, the only one who doesn't go for it is the villain, and yeah, that makes sense because he's a jerk. But he's a I don't know. I don't want to say more like, I don't want to say he's a likable jerk, but
you'll love to hate him. You'll love to hate him.
Yeah, you love to hate him. Exactly.
It's definitely just so, like you said, he's just animated so well.
I love it. I love how well he's animated.
They definitely like had a blast with it. Just him like rolling on in the Vespa, like he's such hot shit, and everyone in town is rolling their eyes, like, okay, buddy, we get it, you vape. He would totally be a vapor too, I bet.
Oh my god, dude, the day he turns 18, he's vaping hard.
Of course.
Absolutely. You know what? I do want to mention this. I feel like one thing that and maybe like in the second watch this won't be as big of an issue, but I felt that it could have another thing that is one thing that my coworker mentioned is that he felt that this could have used like 10 or 20 more minutes just to like start developing the town, because we don't really get much of a sense of all the different townsfolk as I feel we should have. Like there's like tiny hints, but like again, I keep thinking back to like Kiki's delivery service and all the characters that we see along the way, and the chill out movie of the summer. There's like we know one family very well. We know Julia and her dad and her fucking hilarious cat.
Oh god!
God! We gotta talk about that cat.
About the dog and the cat. With the dog, the dad, and the cat.
Okay, but I
think later. No, later. But
okay. But like aside from that family, there's there's the bully and like there's his lackeys, but I don't know, there's not a sense of like, oh, here are the old women in town. Here are here's the baker. Here's the fishmonger. Here's it. It was the town just felt more like a background. I guess what I'm saying is like I want something more like Cars. I finally get to say this. I want something a little more like Cars, where you get a sense of that small town vibe, and just getting this even more glimpse. I feel like would have been beneficial. Like Kiki's.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Please, you're one of our people. Go right ahead.
Yeah,
you're in the podcast too, you know.
Yeah, that's very true. Just because it may not be small town to us doesn't mean it's not small town to like people who grew up in an Italian village.
There could definitely be like different.
It could be different. In my opinion, that might be more of what the culture was like, or what the culture they were trying to implicate, and it may be different from what we know. And so, just because it's not something we're used to, doesn't mean it isn't like that. So
yeah, I mean, the thing with something like Kiki's, I guess, is that it's like, yeah, you know, because that's what it's trying to. I mean, for like a harbor town, you know, not really so much about like the friends you make or whatever. It's, you know, how much do you have to eat and stuff like that. I mean, my 2 cents on it is that I think that falls. I mean, it's actually shock here. I'm agreeing with Wash. But to me, that just kind of falls into it's a problem, but it falls into the problem of just the movie being a bit too basic. Where like the biggest problem is that it is just, like I said, that straight and narrow. They actually did bother to take some turns along the way. Then we could have gotten to see more of the townspeople. Then we could have gotten to see more of the ocean.
Yeah, and to be fair, we do see, but yeah, that we do see some of the characters, and honestly, we see more of the town more than we see of the ocean.
I definitely,
and I guess the only thing that I could really think to say in that regard is that it's like, yeah, we know. I can't even say we know all of Andy's toys. We know the important ones. And we know Sid's toys that we remember the designs of. But, you know, it's like, as a whole, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's Andy's room because you see a lot of the toys, but you barely actually see any of the toys. So again, just thinking about Toy Story, it's like, what is it about Toy Story that, you know, makes this stuff not a problem, but then you get to Luca and it is a problem? And in my book, it's either A, it's nothing, or B, it's just, you know, a kind of a different thing that the two movies are setting out to do in different ways. Like, if you really don't think Andy's toys being around is nearly as important as the people of the harbor being around, I actually think that's fair. That's actually what my take is. I think the harbor town is kind of a bit more important than Andy's toys. But also, I have to agree that Andy's toys, for the most part, other than the important ones, not mattering, kind of not a good thing about Toy Story.
Well, I can definitely. Well, this is not our Toy Story.
I know, but it's just like because I've heard this critique about it. I mean, I went to like the Wikipedia page and I read like 2 reviews. Well, okay, no, I read a few more reviews than 2, but like the 2 criticisms. That's what I meant to say. The 2 criticisms that I saw throughout all the reviews were that it was too safe and there was no meat to it. And now it's like, all right, wait a minute. How many, like, did we watch the same movie? Because I agree that it's too safe, but it's like the meat of the movie is what saves it. It's just like Toy Story. It's hella basic, and it doesn't do anything that incredible, but what's there is really, really good, and that's what matters. So that's why I keep bringing up Toy Story, because it's the same thing.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say, because I honestly feel that, like, in the DVD Blu-ray collection that'll come out, I honestly feel like there's gonna be like deleted scenes where we actually do get to see some of these townsfolk. Cause there's a glimpse of the priest. Like the priest shows up like once in the beginning. I don't think he had a word, but like at the end, he's setting up all the paper cups, and he said, "Hey, can you pass these around just in case?" Just like implying that, like, you know, that one is gonna start puking, and we just have to be ready for it. And that's like, okay, he's a funny priest, and he's a little gossipy as well. But and it's like there's that glimpse, and I genuinely feel that there's supposed to be more that they've had to cut down to try to make the just like streamline, ironically, the film more.
Or could have been because of unnatural circumstances that the animators had to deal with from working at home.
That is true. I did notice in the credits it said produced in our slippers around the Bay Area. Like, aw. It really is like that they had to do like half the production at least.
Yeah, because Soul wasn't the only one. In fact, Soul probably might have been around the final stages during.
Yeah, I think it was. It was almost there.
I'm pretty sure Luca was worked on a lot during when everyone was in quarantine, at least a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe they did have a lot planned, but they couldn't meet a deadline in time, or they had to scrap some things because of that. We don't know.
Just to get the plot moving forward, so to speak. Random, because Wash and I have been dominating the conversations. Yeah. Tell us, what didn't you like about this?
That's a good question. Okay, this may be a hot take, but the parents were meh.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, like, and you got funny people. You got Maya Rudolph and Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah,
but first off, Maya Rudolph is actually a little bit more serious. Like, she has her funny moments, and there's the whole motif, and I like the arc of, hey, look at me in the eye. You know I love you, right? And like, I know, and that comes back at the end, and I'm like, good job there. You get some brownie points. Good job. But like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. More Jim Gaffigan's character than Danielle, than Daniela, the mother.
Daniela and Lorenzo.
Yeah, the father just I did not like him in this much at all.
Do you remember? I shouldn't be saying this as the one defending the movie, but do you remember the scene where he thinks he found Luca? And he starts shouting at him, and he like pushes him into the water.
Yeah.
And the kid starts crying, and they just like run away. And he's like, "Let that be a lesson to you, young man." And it's like, it's supposed to be like, haha, but also like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Lorenzo looks like a frog. It was
best character.
It was a little too stylized in that way. He just looked like unhuman.
Yeah, he looks like a frog in his sea monster form, and
a frog in human form. He looks like a frog wearing human clothing.
He does. He looks like Mr. Toad if he were a human.
Yeah, he does kind of look like Mr. Toad. I don't want to say Kermit, even though I did watch the Muppet Show immediately after Luca.
And I don't know. They just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, at least the mother I'll understand a bit, but especially the father. Like they really wanted to be like, this dad doesn't care, and I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I know they were trying to go for the incompetent father. I get it, but they could have given him more of an arc. Maybe
he didn't add anything.
Really,
like, I wasn't crazy about the mother either, but it's like you said, at least she added something.
Like, there's like one line where he says, I don't feel like I'm paying attention to our son. And then that's it.
Yeah, that came out so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Get it, but like, he had a decent line where oh god, I feel like the mother said like, do you think we convinced him or something like that? And Lorenzo is like, no thanks, I'm full. Like, that's I went kind of like huh, all right, but
now I know why Disney usually kills off the parents.
God. That's so
grief.
hard.
But also,
No, but like, think about it. What if they like did the thing? I mean, it would have been very similar to Finding Nemo. It's like too similar, I think, in fact. So I'm really glad they didn't do it. But what if they're like the father died, or and the mother was like, "Oh, I need to protect him from a human or something." But then again, would have shaped the story a lot differently. It would have been a Finding Nemo clone, and I guess with the water that would have been bad. So I get why they didn't do that, but
But
They didn't know what to do with him.
If you're gonna talk about Disney dads, then why like how could you say that to Massimo? I think that's how you should pronounce his name. Julia's dad.
oh, he was so good. He's a good dad.
Yeah, but this great little bit. Like you see him like has he has just one arm, and like they go out to the boat, and they say like he's looking like Luca's staring at it a bit, and he says like I forget, it's like shark bit it off or something like that.
No, he said the sea monster ate it.
Oh
Yeah.
And
sea
then
monster ate it. No, I was born with it.
Yeah.
That's cute. Like, of course.
Yeah.
By
it was
the
a
way,
nice moment.
by the way, when he says that and he starts using his one arm and being a total champ with it, Alberto is immediately interested. You see him like going like, "Oh wow," and then that leads that is the start of him becoming a father figure to Alberto, which is paid off throughout the rest.
Yeah.
Just saying.
True, that's
Just
true.
saying.
Even in the end,
Just
when you see Alberto,
Alberto stays behind. Alberto
yeah.
stays behind with him because he's his dad.
yeah, pretty much. But I gotta say, I love Massimo, but the cat is the
Oh my
is
God.
so it's that
Oh
cat.
my God.
Single
So,
biggest
out-
laugh in the whole movie with that fucking cat.
It really was.
Yeah, so if you anybody who knows, I'm not even gonna say IRL, just like you know me at all, you know that anything else, I would say I love dogs and I'm fine with cats. Disney is like the exception. I am so done with Disney dogs, and now I'm like, where are the Disney cats? We need more Disney cats. I love this cat so
Technically,
much.
it's a Pixar cat, but yes, I
Same
see
thing.
what you mean. Yeah, because this cat, I think this cat was more inspired by like less by Disney and more by like Studio Ghibli,
100%.
and
Mhm.
it, just by the design alone,
Yeah.
it looking like exactly like the cat version of Massimo, only you could see the eyes.
Yeah, he's like, he's got like a little mustache, and he's so,
Yeah.
and he's just glares on.
He literally glares and full on attacks Luca multiple points.
He attacks Luca, and Luca tries to like take get the cat off and throw it into the water. And she's like,
And he's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
and the cat is like shivering, and then eventually Luca
And
gives him a cat.
Luca stuffs the fish in the cat's mouth.
Yeah,
and then
it's
everyone's like, what the fuck? And then the cat's like,
Yeah, like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
And then it's like, we're good.
I love when the cat attacks him and he's freaking out. Maximo goes, don't play around back there. Like he doesn't
Good-
even care.
No.
Uh,
I love his introductory scene, by the way, because it's like, oh, he's intimidating. He's this super strict dad. But once they actually start talking, you find out the reason he doesn't want his daughter to enter is because like can't afford it. Like money's
Yeah,
tight.
money's tight.
Money's
Yeah.
tight. Fish aren't coming as much, and it's just you got to look at things realistically. And it's like, oh, all right, that's valid actually.
but then like of course the Luca and Alberto help him out with like a huge pile of fish. It's like, these boys do
Yeah.
know fish.
Fish.
And that's nice. Granted, they're killing their fellow sea friends, but that's fine. Maybe it's just
fine.
like hunting
I-
cows for them.
I was wondering if they were gonna go if they were gonna go for the, oh no, we're gonna sell off our own sea friends, but like sea monsters, they probably would eat other fish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah.
Think about it. Think about it as how even though humans are animals, basically, we eat meat. Think of it like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was I was thinking it was gonna be there, but like no, that makes sense that it's just be like
Yeah.
the food.
A lot of the skeeviness comes in once you start bringing in like I guess like intelligence, stuff like that. You know, if they're just like some random animal that, you know, can't really like emote or think or what. I can't, and I don't mean to be, you know, kind of, you know what I mean when I say that. That's what things kind of start getting a little icky, but it's not like, you know, they're eating other sea creatures or other ones that can talk and emote and feel and discuss and think.
That
would be icky. That would be icky, but they don't do that.
There's like one. I mean, first off, like only the sea monsters talk, but there's even a joke at one point where they're talking about a dolphin impression, and one of them even says like, "Why don't they just talk? Why do they sound? Why do they sound like that anyway?"
Yeah.
You know what character I can't stop thinking about, even though they're barely in the film?
Uncle Ugo.
Yes.
Borat.
Yeah, literally Borat as an anglerfish.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife fish.
You know what? I wish Joey Richter voiced that role.
No, honest, that felt like the John Ratzenberger character.
Yeah, it did. Like at first I was like, "Is this John Ratzenberger?" But like, no, that's Borat.
That's
Borat.
The way it was set up, I was expecting it to pay off in some big way. Never happened.
It was in the
how,
credits.
How would you? Yeah, I was gonna like how. Well, what is there to pay off?
Exactly. Like it's just he just kind of shows up as this like figure that like I guess it's like
I would have thought he was would have been like the villain.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like they bring him to the surface world. And
did we watch the same movie? How did you get to that conclusion? He's there, he's an idiot, and then the parents go to the surface.
No,
he's not even.
He's there. His heart
if he stays outside of the deep for more than 6 seconds, you have to punch his heart.
Oh yeah, good point. That's why he
God.
didn't go.
I'm sure there's fan art of it somewhere of like human Uncle Ugo. Although there's one point where the parents walk past the movie theater and they see like a creature from Black Lagoon, like Ugo.
Yeah.
that was funny. But yeah, it just like they like he even gets like I noticed like with the music, he just like he sounds a little bit more threatening, and he is threatening to take them to the deep darkness, which we don't really see until the end. I kind of wish we had a visual of that beforehand, just to really like I think that would have helped raise the stakes more, instead of just talking about it. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, better put your efforts into places that matter a little bit more. I mean, the threat is that you're gonna have to listen to this guy talk to you for 24 hours a day.
I mean, granted,
that's the threat.
There was one point where I think at the end he was like, "I could talk about this for 24 hours," and I was like, "That's Twitch streaming for you."
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I think you know, if they're gonna like add more to the movie, they should focus more on things like the town, or I don't know. I guess making things a little bit clearer, because I feel like I'm the only one that's catching all these little details. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe they should have spelled things out a little bit more. But it's like
maybe
I'm so goddamn tired of people catering to casuals. Just give me this.
How dare you?
Honestly. I'm glad it doesn't spell things out, because it didn't do that with a lot of things for Hot Fuzz and The World's End and
yeah, I'm
Shaun of the Dead. You had to rewatch those like multiple times to get it.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I'm definitely
great.
more curious for the second watch through. Like,
I think I'll notice these things more too.
Yeah,
because I was just
before this, I was like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'll rewatch it, but I feel like I was feeling like I would just get the same movie the first time around.
Kirby, did we talk about the problem you had with the film?
I mean, I had a few problems, but you know, I mean, shocked. It's similar ones that you guys brought up, like the ocean. I do agree, wasn't really taken advantage of all that well. I'm fine with where Alberto went to the plot, but I won't lie and say that I wasn't annoyed with him because I was. And I've mentioned this a bunch of times, so I'll just say it and we'll leave it so that I don't go on another 20-minute rant. But the movie definitely just went down the straight and narrow a bit too much. I think there should have been a bit more. I think the quality of what's there is good enough to at least make it, not like, a total mess. But, it should have, I'm going to bring up Toy Story again because it's all I can think about, but, it's at kind of that ballpark.
Oh, I just noticed something.
What's up?
According to the IMDb page, the director, Enrico Casarosa, does make a cameo. He's the angry fisherman that says, "Hey, stupido," apparently.
Oh, okay, that's neat.
At least according to IMDb. He's also a card player.
So when that reminded me of a joke. It wasn't so much funny when Alberto and Luca were going to random people and saying "El stupido," and they were like, "What the heck?" And that was just like, whatever. But when Alberto goes to say it to the dad, and Luca's like, "No, no, no," it's like, okay, the joke paid off. I'm glad.
Yeah, because at first he says it to a few old ladies, and they just beat the crap out of him. Like, okay, that's fine. And it's also funny those old ladies turn out to be monsters.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the funny part is that they say that, they throw the ice cream on them, and then they're like, "This stuff's really good." Which is yes, ice cream or shaved ice or yogurt or whatever. It is very good.
It was,
Speaking of things that look... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that they liked it enough that they even drew... Alberto drew on his drawing with him and Luca on the Vespa, 2 cones of gelato.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, speaking of looking good, we don't really talk. We need to talk the film. I know you were talking about the character design, but the animation looks so good in this.
Yeah.
I
like the look of the movie a lot.
The water looks good. The town looks good. The rain. God, the rain looked great. There was a lot that I really liked. This movie was amazing visually, and it really captured. I think I won't know for sure, but I think it captured an Italian town better than Cars 2 did.
I've seen the movie once, and I'm pretty sure we could safely say that it did. See, here's what... I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, especially because we were whining about, or we were just talking about how stupid the term CalArts is. But Pixar movies, for a while now, have had a very, to me at least, a very samey look to them. And I understand that there are specifics to kind of make them different. I am one of the people that's no, not all anime look the same, for example. There are things that make them look different, but I really thought Pixar was going down that route where it's oh, these movies they're really good looking, but they're really similar. Soul came around and I was like, oh good, this movie looks super unique. I can't wait for that to go away with the next movie. And then this one looks like it's a totally different look from Soul, but it's equally unique in how it looks compared to other Pixar movies. And it's just I'm glad that, we're at a point where it's we're getting original movies again, and they actually feel original, not original movie inspired by the look of this film or something like that.
We're entering a new age of Pixar. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
As we speak, there's a meme going around where there's some sort of filter that turns people's faces into Disney faces. And the fact that there even is a Disney face tells you how standardized they've got it.
Disney's got it real bad.
Yeah.
Pixar was they're starting to look samey. Disney, really bad.
Really bad.
God, I remember before Frozen, this was before Frozen came out, the piles of hate that it was getting when people would say these two girls look exactly like Tangled. Exactly.
Yep.
And it didn't get any better from there. It just kept happening movie after movie.
And it's still a problem. I don't know if Raya is any different because I haven't seen that yet, but I assume it is the same.
I from
Knowing
what I
Disney,
remember,
probably.
It's very similar. There's like a I remember the image before the movie came out of like one of the dragons having the Disney face.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
But yeah, it's we talked about this back in like Incredible, like damn, Pixar has finally got humans down, and they look so freaking good. They look so well. It's like it's recognizably human, but still having a good amount of style to it, and something recognizable, and it's something that fits each of these characters well. And then they just started to, like, sand it down further and further to like. I'm thinking back to like the humans in like Finding Dory, that just like they just look like they just had these humans on supply in the
Yeah.
in a file somewhere.
And it's such a shame because you look at movies like Up where the humans look so good.
Yeah,
And it's like how I mean Finding Dory wasn't that much later. It's like how did we get there? And again, like I said, I love the look of Luca and I love the character designs, but I can't even say that Luca was like, you know, the one where things were getting back on track. That was Soul. But
yeah,
I still think, you know, like that doesn't I think I'm just praising the character design of Soul now.
Well, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And we do have to get
Is
to
there
that
anything
eventually.
else we want to say?
I got one thing.
Go ahead.
A movie in Italy about Italians having songs in Italian. Good move.
And and all pop songs too, like Italian. Like I was seeing in the credit that they had to like get the rights from like Sony Music or something like that. Like these are well established songs in Italy. And not only that, there's one moment where there's a TV playing a live action movie.
Yeah.
Which
I noticed that. It reminded me of Ratatouille.
It was reminding me of a Wall-E with the live action president.
I might have meant. Did they have live action in Ratatouille? I think they did.
No.
Okay, then it was reminding me of Wall-E. It was
They had
reminding me of
live
Wall-E.
action of Wall-E.
Yeah,
It was reminding me of Wall-E then.
I did look up that movie. It's it is considered like one of the like an Italian masterpiece. Big deal on Madonna Street. And this was well, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but it's like a comedy heist movie. It looks pretty. It looks like it's very well regarded. But it was also like it came out during a time when there was still debates about subs versus dubs for foreign films. And,
oh boy.
And there were multiple critics at the time that hated the subtitles, like just going on and on about like how just hating like all the subtitles were ruining all the jokes. And it's like, you enjoyed the movie. What are you talking about? Anyway, that's all I can really say about I Solita Ignoti. Soliti Ignoti. I'm not Italian. Looking.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you guys have anything else, I've spoken way too much. So if you guys have
Me
anything
too.
else,
I
by
feel
all
like
means.
Yeah, I feel like I've spoken quite a lot.
I haven't.
Yeah,
but
go
I
ahead
also
if you've
don't
got
know what
stuff
to
say.
I don't know what I have to say though. It was a good movie.
What did you think about? I'm trying to think of like some random point.
Oh, I know. I know. Okay, random. What did you
Yes.
think of the grandmother?
She was cool. I love how she just pops in at the end, and be like, "Yeah, I come here all the time."
Yeah.
And I also
was
like
just there
how she
last week.
defends. Yeah, I also like how she defends or she saves Luca at first.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, because at first Luca is like, "Well, Luca, where were you?" And she was like, "I just sent him to get cucumbers." And I thought she was going to be more like the mentor of Luca at first. But she just falls asleep when he asked her questions, which on one hand loses out on character for the grandma, but on the other hand, Alberto is more of Luca's role model in the beginning. So that works. It works story wise that she doesn't really do that.
I just remembered a joke that I really like. Luca, you're late. Where were you? Don't say surface. Don't say surface. Don't say surface. Surface. What did you just say? Look at his foot.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
That's something we can talk about. This film goes hog wild on fantasy sequences. In a fantasy
It does.
movie. Like, there's so many dream sequences. Did we like them?
I did.
I was gonna say, I hate to say it, but what do you think my answer is at this point?
I
Of
think
course
you
I
like
liked
this almost as much as Cars.
Almost.
Look, none of those are gonna have chick hick, okay?
Good you, good Where'd that lightning thing come from? I don't know.
The giant letter chick magnet.
What if all of a sudden, what's his name?
He's mysterious.
Ercole gets into a car, and that car turns into Chick Hicks.
Chick hick. and like Chick Hicks is talking to Ercole. You know, I won the Piston Cup forever.
Oh my god. Yeah, the grandmother was fine. Again, she was just used more in the beginning, and then come as like the person who really knows about the surface and what goes on, because like the parents, they apparently don't even go on. They've never been to the surface either, because they don't know they transform into humans when they're dry.
Yeah.
So, but the grandmother was like, yeah, I've done this before millions of times, and she just eats pasta casually. Oh, also, don't watch this movie when you're hungry, because you're gonna want pasta.
Well, I want pasta every day anyway. So
I mean, very true.
Valid.
okay, I'll say this, and I feel like I've made the same mistake with Soul. If you're gonna watch this on a bigger screen. Obviously,
Yes.
you can't watch it in a theater screen because it's only, from what I remember, you can only do that in like Los Angeles, and it's on a wait list or something like that. You're only ever gonna see this on Disney Plus, at least for now. But yeah, I was watching it on a 24-inch computer monitor. It's a good monitor. It does not immerse me that well. And
Makes me happy I got a 32-inch monitor.
lucky you. So definitely go watch this on a larger monitor because it looks absolutely gorgeous. We were supposed to talk about how this movie looks, and we got into like character design, but it looks fantastic. It very vibrant colors too. It reminded me of a Up, although maybe not as far. It's definitely like very vibrant and it feels like sunny even at night. It feels very cozy. With this, for the harbor town feel of it. Quite nice.
Yeah.
So we've been going on for about an hour and a half. I was gonna say we'll get one more thing out of random, and then we'll move on to
Final thoughts?
Temporary final thought.
Final thoughts. Yes.
What's the one more thing you want to ask? Because I don't know what else to say.
Well, I mean, if you just have one more thing, we were.
Hold on, let me think. Let me think if there's any.
Think.
I have like
Brain
one
blast?
more. I have like one more thing I can. I have one more thing I can think of.
I want Random to talk.
Yeah, let Random talk. Let Random talk.
I'm just trying to think. There's nothing really to talk about. I'm glad that the training montage was not too stereotypical.
Oh yeah, the training montage.
I guess that the training montage where they're eating pasta and going to and riding the bike and swimming. Not even a training montage. It's more like a scene.
I guess
no, I really don't know what to say. Do you have any questions?
I mean, we could either get into the final thought. Oh, okay, I got a question. what if random? What if Luca was given the school ticket from Alberto? Julia pops out just to look at something. Luca's like, "Look, I got a ticket. I can go to school." And she goes, "What are you waiting for? Come on, Luca."
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say. I thought that like, what if he was gonna tickets? If he was gonna get a ticket, and she was gonna be like, "Come on, Luca, let's get back to Hogwarts."
Oh my god. No. Good Dinosaur only.
When I wanted to say this earlier. I saw in the credits, one of the production babies is named Arlo. And what that?
All right. Finally
You know-
get to say this again. I get to go last. So who's going first?
Okay, I'll go first.
All right.
Final thoughts. It was good. I don't think it's one of the best Pixar movies ever made, but I still think it's really, really good. It's beautiful. It has a lot of great moments. The character design's great. The characters themselves are great. Some better than others, and it was interesting to watch. I really need to watch it a second time though, because I did not pick up on a lot of stuff that you did. I did pick up on a few things, but not everything. It does have some issues. Like, I feel like it's, like you said, too straight and narrow, and it doesn't talk about the ocean much, and it could be developed a bit more, but I still thought it was pretty good. And more importantly, a good stepping stone for the new era of Pixar.
Oh, the era starts with Soul?
I said a new stepping stone.
Oh, stepping
So it
stone.
started with Soul, and then it's continuing on with Luca. Your turn.
Okay, well, I could say at least, like, before we had this conversation, because I was it got me thinking back to Onward with the joke I made earlier, and I was thinking, like, I honestly I was feeling like Onward was better than Luca, because there was just not a whole lot that was hooking me this first time around, but given the conversation we've had, I'm definitely curious to rewatch this and keep all of this in mind and look out for it more, and get a bigger TV, or get and watch it on a larger screen, because it definitely benefits. I will note that at least some of the animators. I'm not gonna say all the animators. Some of the animators were upset when the news broke out about Disney making this free on Disney Plus, because they felt that this should have been this was tailor made for the big screen, for the theaters. But there were also other animators that were like, if people watch my movie, that's great. That's the most important thing, is that people watch my movie. So, yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't do both.
I am surprised as well. I'm surprised it's LA only, or maybe California. It's very small spot where you can actually watch this movie in the proper theater. It has some good elements of it. Like I feel like what made me sour on it was Alberto, and just the approach that they took with the character. Perhaps on the second watch, I can see the balance of that a little better. As of now, it is a fine. It's fine. Herbie fan, wrap it up.
I will keep it brief. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely the most out of the three of us, no questions asked. A lot that I liked about it, and yeah, there were problems that I had with it, but on the whole, I enjoyed myself. It was a very good experience. We joked about this before, but because this is a super serious podcast for super serious people, I have to mention Cars is better. I mean, who knows? On my second viewing, I could like it more than Cars, but I probably won't. Just I really had a good time. I think I don't want to say anything until I watch it again, but it's like since I watched it, every part of me has been like, I know I like this more than Toy Story, but it's like, only watched it once. Don't say anything. And I can't get this thought out of my head. Like,
Yeah.
I think I like it more than Toy Story, but I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But as it is, thoroughly enjoyed it. Probably even more than Soul, but just my first watching. I feel like when I watch Soul again, that's another one of those movies. When I watch it again, I'm gonna like it a lot more than I did my first time.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with that, that'll be it. We will Pixar Perspective will be back because we were supposed to do a follow up to the Soul, since we were talking about it earlier. We were supposed to do a follow up to Soul, and we got pretty busy with the current podcast that you're listening to, which here's like an inside scoop. We already finished recording every episode. So
Yeah. So unless they announce a new musical anytime soon, which they might, we're done with the current we're done with this. We're done with it.
We're actually done, but we'll still be posting episodes regularly. We will get back to Soul eventually. We're making some plans for a rewatch. But with that, I think that about does it.
Don't forget the plug.
Oh, that's the first ever plug of Pixar Perspective.
Oh my god!
If you liked what you've listened to, you can follow us on our Twitter page, WRK Podcast. You can you can subscribe to us on YouTube, where we post all of our other podcast episodes, including Star Kid Spotlight on the WRK in progress. And you can listen to us in audio form, as you might be doing now, on wrk.simplecast.com. With that,
There we go.
whoo, that gives me shivers. It feels like that was well overdue.
Yeah. About time we do it for our main podcast series.
For our baby.
Yeah.
But until next time in the next Pixar movie, I'm Random Bystander here.
I'm the Wash.
And you can listen to me talk for 12 hours a day.
On twitch.tv/It'sKobeFan.
Or Random Bystander here. Or the Wash _
Yes, you can listen to me talk 12 hours a day on twitch.tv/Random Bystander here.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Go see Luca.